It's not always the gear, it's how you use it. You can't find the right mic for the right singer, even if that's you, just by watching a YouTube video. Just because it works for somebody else does not mean that it's going to work for you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of how I go about thinking about what's going to work for a worship leader or a singer and their vocal mic. I'm going to test out 3 different microphones on 2 different singers with and without drums on stage so that you can hear about the considerations that I take when I'm trying to find the right mic for the right singer. Now, while we're testing out different microphones, know that none of them really win. It's just a matter of comparing which tool is going to be right for which job and in which context. But to try to keep things objective, I'm going to not tell you which mic is which until after you've listened to it. Now, I goofed and didn't record the output of the console while I was mixing these live. So I'll show you on screen what EQ I used in post so you can get an idea of what it sounded like. Now for these examples, I tried to capture both singing low and singing high because, as you well know, people's tone changes between the verse and the chorus. And for a small portion, I even faded out the acoustic guitar so that you could hear the mic by itself and in context. So let's listen to the mics.
Be thou my wisdom, be thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Lord of creation has made me his own. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Lord of creation has made me his own. Thou my blessed, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Lord of creation has made me his own. Heart of my own heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, ruler of all. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The Lord of creation has made me his own.
And take the world, but give me Jesus. Let me view his constant smile. Then throughout this lifelong journey, he will lead me all the while. And oh, the height and depth of mercy, oh, the length and breadth of love, and oh, the fullness of redemption, pledge of endless life above. Take the world, but give me Jesus in his cross. My trust shall be till with clearer, brighter vision, face to face, my Lord I see. And oh, the height and depth of mercy, oh, the length and breadth of love, and oh, the fullness of redemption, pledge of endless life above.
I also wanted to see how well the mics rejected drum bleed. On this stage, there's a pretty good distance between the drums and the vocal mics, and there's some small circular drum shields to help minimize the drum noise too. And special shout out to Addison for being my cameraman on this one and jumping on the drums.
Side by side, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my life. Heart of my own heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, O ruler of all. Thou my best Lord, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my life.
For his love abideth ever, through eternal years the same. For his love abideth ever, through eternal years the same. And oh, the fullness of redemption, pledge of endless life above.
So on this mic, you can unscrew the windscreen. And there's some switches under here. There's a pad, which I've got engaged, a high-pass filter, which is also engaged. We can switch from cardioid to supercardioid. So let's do that with the drums. And it does make some sound. It's not silent because there's stuff moving. Let's do that with the drums again and then see if we can get a little bit less drum bleed, if that helps. Now, the other thing that you have to balance is that if Jory moves around at all, this is a much tighter pattern, and so you can lose some top end pretty quick. If your worship leader likes to move or move around, that is another thing. If they're really solid and stays in one place, this might be a great option.
For his love abideth ever, through eternal years the same. So take the world, but give me Jesus. All its joys are but a name.
Something I noticed that you might have noticed too is that Jory sings a lot louder than Katie, and so the drum bleed is a lot less with Jory because we have to turn up the mic less. When you have louder sound sources, it means that you get less bleed from other loud sound sources. And that's why I included two different singers in this, because what matters for one singer might not matter for another singer. So are you ready to know which mic is which? Here we go. The first one is the Lewitt W950.
Lead me all the while in all the height and depth of mercy.
Mic number 2 is the Heil PR37.
Thy presence, my light. Hallelujah.
And mic number 3 is an SE V7 capsule.
Redemption, pledge of endless life above.
So what did you think of the mics? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. In just a minute, I'll share with you what we thought when I listened back with Jory and Katie there in the room. But first, if you're a worship leader and you're just trying to figure out all this audio stuff and it feels a little bit overwhelming, I've got some steps for you to take to untangle the mystery around sound at church. First, download my free guide, How to Lead Your Church Sound Team. You can find it through the link down in the description below. It'll help you clarify what a winning mix sounds like for your team without technical jargon. Then you can have a clear, consistent target for your sound techs to aim for, even while you're leading worship on stage. Next, pick up a copy of my live mixing field guide. You can find it at livemixingfieldguide.com. This will help you get a head start on EQ and compression settings and the target frequencies that I use for the instruments and vocals you're likely to find at church. Plus, it comes with a companion course that teaches you the very basics of EQ and compression. So even if you're starting from zero, this is a great place to go, and at just $19 for the ebook, it's a no-brainer. After you've done those, sign up for my Audio for Worship Leaders course. It'll walk you through all the essential things that you need to know as a worship leader to avoid sound problems at church that hamper your rehearsal and Sunday service. From using mics and DIs the right way to mixing your monitors and teaching your team to do the same, it'll walk you through all the things that you need to know without overwhelming you with technical jargon and nonsense. You'll be equipped to use your gear and talk to your sound techs without feeling like it's a foreign language. You can find more information on how to sign up down in the description below. Now with that, let's see what Jory and Katie thought about these mics. So I feel like they're all still kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a huge difference as far as like what we can get to. It's just about how hard you have to try here to get it there. I can't hear a huge difference. We're doing all this work and they all sound good. It's not always the gear, it's how you use it.
For his love abideth in.
I really like the low end on this one.
I do too.
It feels solid without being overwhelming.
It's really tight too.
Yeah.
You don't feel that flabbiness that you normally feel in mics that have that low frequency. And it still has a presence to it,
Yeah.
which is nice. Yeah, so that loses that depth. It's a lot more presence in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be tempted even to boost low mids on
Yes.
this
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're singing lower,
Yep.
which is odd because I never do that
Right.
live. But that's the way it goes. You got to do what you got to do.
Now, I mean, this mic would give you an opportunity to cut through a mix if you're
Yes.
like, I'm struggling, I have too much, our subs are in the wrong space, like blah, blah, blah. This mic could get your vocals to cut through a mix without having to do a ton of work, which is kind
It's
of
true.
handy.
I feel like that's my Achilles heel is I'll make things too thin to cut
Yes.
through and then it's harsh.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I feel like this mic and you aren't the perfect fit.
No,
A good mic. It sounded great on Katie too.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it with the drums too. Okay, so there's some drum bleed, but it's not bad.
it's not bad. First mic had a lot less, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's still pretty good. Yeah, it's when you jump up vocally, you start to go, ooh, there's that that fingernail kind of feeling,
Yeah.
that nail in the ear kind of
So
feeling.
not the best fit for this. Let's check the third mic and listen to that. First without drums, of course. On this one, I did have to cut a lot more low end.
Yeah.
So that had a lot of isolation from the
Yeah.
drums. So if you've got a really noisy stage,
Yeah.
this mic might be a great fit.
That was a ton.
Tonally, it was a little more work to get it there.
Right.
You know, the bottom end, I felt like I had to pull back a lot more.
Yeah,
a lot
it
more
gives you a
proximity
lot.
effect felt
Yep.
like it needed to be taken care of,
Yep.
as opposed to mic number 1.
Right.
But the amount of isolation you get from this one.
Well, now, on that point, though, one of the things that I notice with that mic is in-ears, right? So, like, if you're sending this microphone to your band's in-ears without processing, they're going to notice that proximity effect, which means you have a chance of your singer backing off because
Right.
they're like, something's not right. I don't like this tone, which makes it harder for you. So that's like that, like, okay,
Catch
what
22.
do we do here, right? Because
Yeah.
like sometimes you don't want to send process to the ears because
Yeah.
it messes with.
Or if you can get high pass filter only, that can be helpful. But
Yep.
then there's other routing considerations with different
All
boards.
that,
You know,
but
like
that is- but-
our direct outs are only high pass filter only. So now all of our high pass filters going to the recording too.
Yes.
And you have to use tie lines. It can get messy.
It's a big mess.
Yeah.
But the convenience of this mic, as far as like in a live situation with a live stage, it has a lot of rejection. It has really good just coverage, which
Yeah.
is really nice on a vocal mic.
Yeah.
But it does require a lot of effort.
Right. You got to work a little harder for it, but it can get there and get you. You know, if you're really trying to avoid the
Yes.
drum bleed problem,
Yes,
this one
this one
did a
will.
great job.
Yeah.
I would say it's comparable to the first mic when it was in supercardioid.
Yes, I agree.
So good stuff. After using the Lewitt mic on a couple other worship leaders, I can tell you that either it works or it doesn't. Some voices that are a little bit more present in the 4K range that might be considered harsh or nasally, for those singers, the top end on the Lewitt might highlight it in a way that's not exactly flattering. The other thing I noticed is that the supercardioid pattern is very tight. So if you have a singer that's moving around even just a little bit, you can drop off all the top end and kind of lose the presence of the microphone, and I didn't really love that. So if you've got a very still singer, yeah, pop it on the supercardioid, but otherwise, leave it on the cardioid polar pattern, and it's a little bit more forgiving. Like Jory said, the bottom end of that microphone really felt full without being flabby. So I'm a huge fan of the high pass filter that's built in. The Heil mic is really solid and it sounds great through the high mids. Though the lack of proximity effect is a challenge for me, and I had to really wrestle with, my goodness, what am I doing not cutting bottom end out of this microphone? I'm really looking forward to trying this one out on other singers too. The SE V7 really holds its own. The top end on it is great for a dynamic mic. Now, it did take a little bit more EQ with these particular singers to sound right, but for less than $130, it's hard to go wrong. Now, I realize there's quite a price difference between these three microphones, and that's one of the things that I wanted to show you, is that spending more money doesn't necessarily mean better results, it's just a matter of finding the mic that fits. And I wanted to show you that you can make almost any mic work on any singer if you've got the skills and the know-how to use your equalizer to get it sounding right. If I was a runner, and the only running that I do is to the fridge, if I bought expensive running shoes and they didn't fit well, they weren't going to help me, right? The shoe has to fit the foot the same way that the microphone has to fit the singer. Just because you spend more money doesn't mean that it's right. So here are my 3 takeaways from this video. The first one is that the right equipment makes it a lot easier to get to the sound that you're after. Number 2 is that more important than that, having the know-how on how to use your equipment is more important than the equipment itself. The gear between the ears is the great equalizer in audio skills. See what I did there? That's why I make the courses and the resources that I do at attawayaudio.com. The third takeaway is that there were differences that we could perceive in the room listening at a higher level that I didn't hear back here in the studio. It seems counterintuitive because you would think that all the detail and nuance would come across in studio monitors in an acoustically treated room, but listening at a higher level exposed us to different textural things and different things that happen when you're listening at a different level. So again, you can't rely on a YouTube video to choose the right vocal mic for you in a live setting. Oh, and just so you know, this video was not sponsored at all. Lewitt and Heil did send me these microphones to test out, but they didn't know that I'm making this video, and they didn't see it before I published it. The SE mic is their usual mic that they use there at Redeemer Fellowship, and special thanks to Redeemer, Jory, and Katie for letting me film there. If you liked this video and you want to help the channel out, go ahead and help that algorithm by smashing the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, and YouTube tells me that 70% of people that watch haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me reach more people, takes out a lot of the mystery and frustration of sound at church. So Thank you for mashing that subscribe button. As always, remember, it's all about the low end, avoid the sound tech solo, and nobody leaves church humming the kick drum. We'll see you back here next time on Attaway Audio. Yeah. You weren't nervous if you weren't thinking about it.